You know, people always ask me, how do you hit the ball so hard despite not having a single ounce of muscle on your entire body? In this video, I will give you a few important tips for adding power to your game, just like mine. There are 3 primary tips I'd give to add extra power when you play. 1, snap your wrists. 2, transfer your weight. And 3, find the right time. Contrary to what you might believe, almost all of the power generated from our shots comes from the wrist, not from the rest of the swing. So, when we want power on our shots, we need to focus on using more wrist and less arm. Your point of contact should look a little bit something like this. In addition to snapping our wrists, you can use the lower half to generate even more power by transferring your weight from back to front. When I go to hit a ground stroke, I'll load my weight onto my back leg, and right before I'm going to hit and snap my wrist, I'll also shift my weight forward onto this front leg. Watch my lower half in this example as I get ready to hit a shot. This final tip is a bit different from the first 2. It doesn't have to do specifically with how to add power, but it is an important consideration we have to make when deciding whether or not we do want to hit the ball hard. We might be able to hit the ball 100 miles an hour, but if we choose the wrong time to unleash that power, it won't do us any good. So you might be wondering, when is a good time to hit hard? For one, if our opponent is out of position. If we notice our opponent is in the wrong spot on the court, exploiting them with a hard shot can be super useful so they don't have any time to get to the ball. Another time is if an opponent at net doesn't have their hands ready. If we notice our opponent has their paddle down at their waist, hitting a hard shot right at them will make it difficult for them to adjust and get the ball back in time.
Is it against pickleball etiquette to hit a hard shot right at someone?
That's a great question, and I've seen a lot of debate on this. At the beginner level, I think I try to refrain from doing this if you can, but the more advanced you get in pickleball, the more common you're gonna see people hitting the ball right at their opponents to try to exploit them in any way that they can. So I guess I'd say that you should feel it out based on whatever game you're in. If you find that the etiquette's not really there and people are frowning upon it, don't do it. But if you see a lot of other players in your game doing it, I would. The easiest way you can practice that weight transfer and wrist snap is to find a partner and take turns hitting these shots to one another. One player will act as the feeder and the other will hit 5 shots right at the feeder as hard as they can, keeping the ball in the court, of course. Once I've done that, I will become the feeding player and my partner will practice this drill. Okay everybody, well that wraps up another video on my channel. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. Before we go, it's only fitting that I show you one final way to add power to your game.
Okay, so USB-C to USPP.
I will see you all next week.